Welcome to my channel today. I'm thrilled that you're here because I am in a pickling spice kind of day. So if you have only found me for the first time, I'm Katie. I am an entrepreneur sharing my tips and strategies with you so you can do the same thing at home. I love cooking and baking for others, and I enjoy preserving fruits and vegetables. And so that's why you're here, and that's why you're watching this. So I hope you're going to learn some things, and I'm hoping you're going to learn a new recipe today because I am doing all things cucumber today. But first, I wanted to show you one of our all-time summer favorites, and this takes no processing, so you can easily do this in your own home. You don't have to have any special equipment. You just need to have cucumbers, onions, and then vinegar, sugar, and celery seed and salt. That is what this recipe is going to entail, and so I'm going to walk you through the steps. First, I'm going to show you how I cut up my cucumbers and my onions. And so I have a shredder that I like. I will use this. It has three different thicknesses. I like the number 1 thickness for these because it makes them nice and thin. And I know with something sharp, you should never use it without the guard. But it's kind of hard to use a long cucumber like this with a guard. So I am just going to be very, very careful. I know that's easier said than done sometimes, but I'm just going to slice these really thin. And I have a container here that I already have a bunch done ahead of time so we can walk through this real quickly. And then we're going to also slice our onions. So this is how I do my cucumber, and when I get down close to the blade, that is when I kind of go slow. And that is when I will just be very, very careful. My cucumber, they're very thinly sliced. They're almost like transparent. And so that is how I like to cut my cucumbers. So I got a whole container filled with cucumber slices. I'm going to set that to the side. Next, we're going to do our onion. And I'm going to put this to a number 2 setting. And I am going to use my guard because this is much easier to do that with. And all you do is just slice it back and forth. So you're going to get like ringlets of onion. And you want to make sure that you get all the way to the bottom. I know there's prongs in there and it might not let you go all the way to the bottom, but pretty close to it. And now I take whole ringlets. I like to cut those in half. So that way it's more like, and I'm just going to stick my whole stack and I'm just going to cut right through it with a knife. And now I have a whole bunch of little ringlets, and so they're going to be a little bit easier to put in your jar. So now you're going to take any glass jar that you have. It can be a saved mayonnaise jar. It doesn't have to be a brand new jar. If in fact I have one here that had red beets in it, these, you do not need to process these or can these. These are going to be able to sit in your fridge for up to, I'm going to start working while I'm talking. You're going to be able to, you're going to just rotate a few onions and cucumbers at the same time because you want to have those layered. You want to see the layers in your cucumbers and onions. But these are going to last up to, we have maybe a fourth of a jar left from last year this time. So yes, they're going to last 1 whole year in your fridge because of all the sugar and all the vinegar that you're putting in it. It preserves them. Like if you want gut health, this has a lot of healing properties in it because it's not processed. It's just fermented. So I'm going to fill this up to the cap of the top, and I'm going to top it off with some onions. The onions also will preserve them. That's why you put a lot of onions in. The onions are my favorite because they kind of get like that. So there we go. We got 1 jar done. Let's go to the next one. But I'm going to probably get about 6 quart jars. That's what I'm hoping. It looks like I'm going to have to do more onion. But I like to get the sweet Vidalia onion, and that way they're a little bit more rich. And I was cutting a few of them up before because I was crying. But I just stack them in just like that, quick and easy. This is something that your kids, if you have kids, grandkids, anybody, they can help. This is a project that can be a family project, and then they will see what is in your food, and they're going to appreciate what you serve them and knowing that they helped make it. So I always love that. I grew up like that. The culture I grew up in was very family oriented. And yes, I'm going to have to do more onions. I did 5 onions. I was sure that would be enough. But anyway, I'm going to go on and show you the next process. I'm going to make the syrup. I'm just going to set that to the side, and I'll work at that after a while. But I got 2 jars that I have completed. But now I'm going to make the syrup. And I like to use, yes, you can use a mixing bowl with a whisk or something like that. But I like this because I can easily pour after I'm done with this. So I'm going to put in my sugar. It calls for 4 cups of sugar. I know. Again, you can experiment. If you really want to make something without all that sugar content, you definitely can do that. I do make several pickles with, and 2 cups of vinegar with just very limited amount of sugar. I actually use stevia, and it works fantastic. But as you know, stevia is a trick to it because, and then 2 tablespoons of salt, and then I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of celery. Now I did double this batch, and I will be able to share the recipe with you. So it's 2 teaspoons of celery seed. I think I said celery salt. And now, whoops, I'll pick that up in a moment. So now all I have to do is put this on, and I am ready to just stir. And then I can pour this. I have to wipe off my rims, so if any sugar content got on there, it's not going to hinder me from opening that. So I'm going to just stick a seal on. If you have rings like this with the separate ball ring, you can gladly use. I often soak mine in water if I process them. Not that you have to, because we're not really processing these. And you're just going to stick these on the counter now. Tonight, before I go to bed, I will turn them upside down to let that sugar content that you're going to see collect on the bottom get to the top. And then in the morning, I will flip them back up again. And then they'll be ready to go. In 3 days, I can start eating them or put them in the fridge. Let them sit in there for months and months. Like I said, they lasted a year for us. You do what works for you, but they are a fantastic, easy way to do pickle processing if you have a lot of pickles or cucumbers in your garden. So thanks so much for watching. Take